These statements are from a 17-year-old boy.
These statements are from a 16-year-old girl.
These statements are from a 17-year-old girl.
These statements are from a 20-year-old boy.
These statements are from a 16-year-old boy. I don't know if it's so much an experience you can really describe. It just is. Depression and being suicidal just is. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's something that's always there, hanging over you like a weight on your shoulders that's pushing you down. I mean, if I tried to explain past that, it gets graphic. Graphic in a way that makes people uncomfortable listening. I don't know. I like the idea of self-harm. I didn't really do it for the punishment aspect, the aspect where you feel like you deserve it, although that was definitely there. I was comforted by it because it wasn't permanent. I could do it and it would hurt, but the cuts and things would fade, which just reinforces the idea that nothing is forever, which I like.
At a young age, I came to a conclusion where I believed suicide could solve my problems. I remember those nights where I tried taking as many pills as possible, trying to force myself to not pick them back up. I remember those days where I would cut myself as a way to cope with the pain.
I've been troubled with OCD and perfectionism my entire life, but following the breakup of my family at 12 years old, I began to sink into a hole of addiction and despair. My mind became a very dark place filled with negativity, anxiety, and fear. I struggled with suicidal thoughts for about a year, and I eventually tried to kill myself at the age of 13 by attempting to stab a steak knife into my artery in my wrist, which would have me left bleeding out.
Worthless. You look at the way others treat you, and you let that define your self-worth.
You hit your lowest point more than once, I think. I wouldn't know how to describe it. I felt useless, pointless, like everything I was doing was hurting the people around me, and it wasn't even getting me anywhere. I don't know, I felt stupid too. I didn't deserve the luck I'd had in getting to where I was because I was doing nothing with that and ruining it for everyone around me. I just wanted to scream, but it's as if you're screaming but there's no sound coming out and you can't breathe at all because you keep screaming but no one can hear you.
I felt unworthy to be living amongst friends, family who thought I was a burden to them. I had the feeling that no one loved me and that everyone wanted me to die. I kept calling myself stupid, fat, ugly, and unlovable because those were the very words I was told growing up. I thought I wouldn't be able to create a life where I could finally be happy. I began hating myself and wished I would end my life because that's probably something I can finally do right. I thought at that point in my life that killing myself was the only solution to my problems.
At my lowest, I simply felt like there was no hope. I was trapped in the realm of depression and felt as if there was nothing getting out. All of my mistakes and shortcomings made me feel like a failure. I felt that if I were to simply exit, I'd be doing the rest of the world a favor. My mind was in a dark place that I felt I could no longer bear the weight of depression and simply wanted a release.
I saw no self-worth in myself, and there was no reason for me to. Nobody around me treated me like I was worth anything, so why would I believe I had any self-worth in the first place?
Anxiety, probably. My family also. School. It's not like one big thing though, it's so many things all at once.
My own parents never expected me to like my own sex and told me that I was a sinner heading straight to hell. My parents were always quick to blame me for actions of others and never gave me a chance to defend myself. The day I was sexually assaulted, my dad quickly blamed me. My parents never did anything to the people who assaulted me and blamed me for those actions.
The question, what's the point, began to haunt me for the next 5 to 7 years.
I had grown up very sheltered and reliant on my parents, who had been my everything up until my teenage years, when they suddenly made the decision to split up. I was not only blindsided, but also felt shocked and abandoned. I told myself that if the people who were most dear to me
could simply disregard me in such a way, no one truly cared for me. And if I was to get out of a solution like this, I was going to have to be off the power of my own will. I began to hold myself to a standard of perfection in many areas, but especially in sports. As I kept falling short, I engaged in a cycle of addiction as means of asserting control. This led to anxiety, which resulted in clinical depression, which left me feeling not only hopeless, but also suicidal.
The fear of pain, holding a knife up to your chest, hating yourself. But hating the thought of that pain was even worse. It's dark, but I wouldn't be here if pain wasn't a thing. Nothing gave me hope. There is no hope in the moment.
It sounds dumb, but humor. I like making jokes about my depression. It almost makes it feel unreal. I also can think of a couple people who can still make me pretty happy, which is possible even if you're depressed. Also, text lines are helpful. They also sound kind of mechanized, but it's nice that there's someone whose job it is to respond. I wouldn't say any of these things help me through it though. I'm still very much in it, still very much in that place, but it's doable now. Manageable to the point where I can make jokes about it and laugh so that no one realizes I'm not really joking.
Robotics has changed my life and has given me hope. My friends and mentors are the reason why I'm still here today. They were the only family I had at the time who truly cared about me.
Improving myself where I can and having plans for the future. I'm starting to feel like I want to do things, and it's really nice. It's a good feeling. And when you get there, you're really going to appreciate yourself in the past, suffering through what you did to get there. All the hard work paid off for me.
Following the episode where I tried to take my life, I saw how far I had fallen and how much I was hurt by trying to control every aspect of my life that had hurt me. I had lost all of my faith in God, which truly sustained me prior to this time of my life. I understood that if I were to live any longer, I needed to choose to give up my obsessive compulsion. I was given hope by God, who showed me that He is someone who could cast all my burdens onto and rely on for my life. No longer did I have to put hope in myself, but I was shown that I could put my trust in someone who is bigger than me and never fails short. I was eventually put on prescription medication and went through rehab phase of meeting with psychiatrists and many therapists for a long period of time. But understanding that I could give up control served as the biggest hope for me.
I don't know what I would have done differently, but if those around me stopped treating me with no respect, that goes a long way. Which in my case, people did start treating me human again. That went a long way.
If I could change the things that led to my current state of mind, I'd change the American education system, and I'd change older generations' perception of mental illness. But obviously I can't do either one of those things in the past, so I'd try to hold on to what could maybe be done in the future. If you're asking what I think my peers around me could do, educate themselves. Respect people around them. Who knows? You never know what someone's going through. Like this could be anyone of your friends. Like this could be someone you don't know. This could be a teacher of yours. Like you have to treat everyone with respect.
I wish I would have sought out help earlier, rather than waiting to have a knife in my wrist to do so. I wish I could have simply made the decision to give up my addiction for the sake of preserving my life. I wish I could have trusted God instead of taking matters into my own hands. I wish I had shown myself grace for falling short rather than being such a perfectionist who would simply hate myself for performing below my standards. I finally wish that the people around me would have taken my depression seriously rather than casting my worries and concerns off to the side.
I wish I could go back and tell myself that my life is worth living. I want myself to know that I'm going to be someone that I could be proud of. I would encourage myself to talk about my feelings, and that thought alone doesn't help, it only hurts you. I couldn't agree more. I think it's so important for you to talk about your feelings, especially even if you don't have somebody to talk to. I feel like you can find somebody to talk to about your emotions, whether it be getting help from the health center, teachers, anybody. They don't have to be your friends, family. And for your parents to blame you for sexual assault is not okay, because it's never your fault. It doesn't matter how you were dressed, what you had on. Wait, can we get this out, please? I'm going to start crying. Okay. I just need time. I hate myself crying.
It's okay.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I feel like it's such a difficult thing, and I can't understand, but I can only imagine what you went through, and I'm sorry.